Hi, everyone. This is Lolita, a.k.a. Lo, and thank you for stopping by REI How To's blog. I'm very excited about the guests that I have. A lot of you have had questions about how to market effectively to probate and absentee owner leads, and I have none other than probably one of the best real estate investors to do it, and that's none other than Miss Sharon Vornholt. And she is the owner of at Innovative Property Solutions, LLC. She's located in Kentucky, and I'm just thrilled and tickled to death. And we actually connected through other mutual business colleagues from on Facebook. And that's one of the wonderful things about social media. You can connect with great people. And Sharon, I'm very excited. I'm happy that you decided to take a little time to spend with us and to share your expertise and to help folks just get more deals. So welcome and thank you.
No, thank you, Lo. I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited too to speak to you and your listeners there.
Well, perfect. Well, we'll go ahead and just dig right on in. And again, I know you've been a real estate investor or been in the business since 1998. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct, 1998.
Okay. So you know a little bit about what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Little bit.
Well, great. Well, let's go ahead and dig in. First question I want to ask you, which lead type do you have the most success with, probates or absentee owners?
For me, I would say it's about 50-50.
Okay.
Some months I have better luck with probates, and maybe a different month I have better luck with absentee owners, but I mail to them both consistently, so it's about 50-50 for me.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, do you mail letters to both lead types, or do you do postcards? How do you mail or reach out to these leads?
Until about a year ago, I used exclusively letters. To tell you the truth, prior to that time, I hadn't had great luck with postcards. And then I decided to try and experiment with my absentee owner list only. I started using yellow postcards, and they've been great. I've had great success with them. For probates, I still use white, very professional-looking letters.
Okay.
I just don't want them to think they're getting a piece of junk mail.
Sure. And that makes sense. And I know you had also shared before that with probates, you want to come across a little bit more professional, not necessarily, having a cheesy looking type of marketing piece to send to these folks and kind of be considerate that they've, lost a loved one or whatever. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'm very mindful in my letters. I use a very low-key letter. I always start out by saying, I want to express my condolences, and that if this is not the time that they're ready to sell the property, just to keep me in mind, and I know that the time will eventually come. And I just change up the letter a little bit over time. As I get further down the road, I'll say, checking in to see how settling the estate's coming along, if you're ready to sell the property. So I have a series of a few letters that I send. They're very different from the We Buy Houses type of postcards where, that everybody uses. I just think for me, I want a super professional appearance, and I've had people actually tell me that was why they chose me, because they don't like getting postcards in the mail for probates. I can tell you that. They don't like that at all. Okay.
Well, excellent. So obviously for those of you that are listening, you want to take this approach. Also now, how often do you mail to your leads? Is it once every 30 days, like for only 4 times, per, list, or do you continue to mail and follow up, every 6 weeks or month, forever?
For absentee owners, I have a database, and I put that list. I check that list periodically. I take out the return mail, and then the list is checked and added for accuracy. But my rule with them is I mail just about forever, till I buy the house, till somebody else buys the house, or until they ask me to stop. At some point in time now, I'll qualify that just a little bit. If you talk to them and they're 100% financed, I'm going to take them out. Okay. So I do that. Now, probates, I used to mail to them only about 15, 18 months, once every 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
I strive for 4. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, but I have found in going back, I use an IC database. So, the way I have put my people in is I put them in like January 2011, February 2011, so that I can go back. It's not just this massive task to go back and periodically check these folks and see if they've sold or what the situation is with the house. Mm-hmm. Because you do have to do that from time to time.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Sure.
But I do continue to mail to them now until I find out that the house is sold.
Okay. Great. So it's just and we all know that, money is in the follow-up. That's something that
it isn't.
It is, and that's something I learned early on, in my real estate investing career, especially with, mailing or even calling, if we're doing cold calling, to make sure to follow up. And you can get a lot of great deals that way. Another thing, how do you prepare your mail outs? Do you use like click to mail? Do you do it yourself, or do you hire or outsource that task?
Well, I was one of those people guilty of doing it myself, all of it for a long time. And it was hard. I had my daughter help me. And when I started outsourcing the postcards, I started using Sales Team Live.
Okay.
There is a fee to use them every month, but all I do is send them an email. And as far as the postcard and the postage and everything, it's just about for what I could do it for. Okay. So for me, I look at that as that's my non-employee virtual assistant.
Yes.
Now, probates I continued to do for a while, and I have recently just outsourced those to a gal who she's actually a lifeguard and at an apartment community. And this time of the year in Kentucky, even on indoor pools, there are not a lot of people are swimming. And she's a graduate student, so she'll sit there while she's doing her other job with her boss's blessing. And she addresses my mail. So I'm happy to say that I have finally outsourced 100% of it.
That's wonderful. It feels great, right?
Yeah, it feels wonderful, and I'm just kind of kicking myself for not doing it sooner, actually.
Well, let me ask you, on average, how many pieces do you mail out per month? Do you hit like maybe 500, 1,000? What works for you?
It's more like I've got right now, I've tried my absentee owner list by continually, I add a few and take a few off. It's about 1,000 a month. Okay. And I'll send those out. I'll order those to go out in 2 groups of 500. And that's really so that, a lot of times you get a lot of calls.
Yes.
Sometimes if you mail around Christmas, I found it's not a very good time to do those types of mailings. So I kind of learned that the hard way. But, and as far as my probates, I've got anywhere from, in the range of 1,000, because I've got there's still 6 little lonely houses from January of 2010 on there, but I check on them periodically, and they're still, I think they're rental property. So I'm kind of waiting for them to get tired of being a landlord. Right. And then some of my months I have 80 or 100. Some months I have 50 or 60, because it's a process of going through and, and making sure there's actually property in the estate. Sure. You've got that whole thing you have to do to get them, in the database. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, how do you get your leads, or where do you get your leads, your probates and your absentee owners?
The absentee owners come from the company that I use. They use several different list sources and combine them, and that's part of their services. They provide the list. Okay. And then according to my parameters, now I set the parameters for the values, nothing in these zip codes or above this price. I want it to be something that I know I can wholesale. Okay. So wherein I take out some of the bad areas, I also take out some of the real expensive homes, because I'm not going to have anybody to buy those. Okay. Probates here, are published in the newspaper. We are not yet online. I know some folks go to the county courthouse, so I'm really not complaining that we have to get them out of the newspaper, but it gives every piece of information that you need, the executor, the decedent, and it's just a process of pulling those up on the property valuation site, on the tax assessor site, and seeing if there's property, what the situation is, and then getting them in the database. It takes about a day, a month, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know that for like absentee owners, I know one source. I don't know if you just have a specific source that you use, which is fine, but I know one source that's good. It's a little, it's a little pricey. I think you have to pay $100 a month. Realquest.com is a good source for absentee owners. And I think for probate's U.S. lease list, which we've used them before. But also I think here in our county, we can actually get probate lists online.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get them online. It'll be so much easier. But the one source you talked about, I looked into, and we did not have them for our state. They're not in every state.
Gotcha.
But they are available by some manner. What I was told at the courthouse is that they have to provide that information, and it has to be someplace where people can find it for creditors.
Right. Okay. Good info. Well, I think we talked a little bit, but I really want you to hone in a little bit more before I let you go on the importance of follow-up. And how you have been successful with follow, because a lot of people, they'll just try, to mail to one list maybe once or twice. They may get a few calls or deals, and they just get discouraged and quit. So talk a little bit about how important follow-up has been for you in your business.
Well, follow-up is critical. Back about last spring, I bought a house from a lady who I had been marketing to for 3 years. Wow. She was an absentee owner, but I've got my rule. If they're still on there and I haven't bought the house, or somebody else hasn't bought the house, then I'm going to leave them on there. Right. But she had bought the house. Lady lived in California. She bought the house for her brother who lived here. Her brother, moved out or left. Then she tried to be a landlord. The people tore up the house, and it took 3 years for her to get to that. And she said, you were the only one that I was still getting anything from. Wow. So, probates, I've got kind of the same situation. I check back periodically, and I just keep mailing, because some of those same folks, when they can't get the price they want in this market, they will decide to be a landlord. And it takes sometimes a year or two for them to decide they don't want to be a landlord. Also with probates, I had one fellow who went down and filed the probate the day after his father died. He told me. That's what he said. Now, I've also bought them from people who didn't even start on the estate for a year. Yeah. So you cannot send out even really 2, 3, 4 mailings and call it quits.
That is excellent examples of why you must continue to follow up. And Sharon, thank you. Again, I've learned some new things myself, so I hope this has been very helpful. I'm sure it's been very helpful for some of you out there that are watching. And I know that you have some bonuses below, some things that you want to share with the group, and I appreciate that. You want to talk a little bit about what they're going to get below? I do, and they can, I wanted to say too, there's a ton of information on my blog over at the Louisville Gals realestateblog.com, and I'm going to have a property information form so that when someone does call you, you get every piece of information that you need, and you don't have to call them back and say, gee, I forgot to ask you whatever it was. Right. A property inspection form, it's a form that it's not the same type of thing that you would use if you were a home inspector, because you need all the little nitty gritty. We're looking at the big picture and all the major components of the house and how many windows are in the house in case you have to replace those windows. And then I will have a sales and purchase contract. It's a simple one-page contract that my attorney drew up for me. People can check in their own state, but I think it's a pretty generic form. Excellent. And again, everyone, all the information, including the bonuses and including Sharon's blog, is below. So please, I encourage you to download these forms, use them, go to her blog, check out her blog. It's excellent information that she's sharing. Sharon, again, thank you for your time. And I want to end it by saying, everybody, now all you have to do is take action. See that? You like that, Sharon? You like that?
That's great. Take action. It pays.
That's right.
That's absolutely the mantra.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lo.
No problem. Thank you.